Hello friends, welcome to the course Atoms and Molecules for MSc Physics Semester 2 as per the revised syllabus of Savitribai Phule Pune University CBCS 2019 pattern. So we are studying our first module Atoms. In the previous lecture we have studied the core structure of hydrogen atom spectrum. In this lecture, we are going to study the electronic angular momentum. In this lecture, we will study the electronic angular momentum and its three types: orbital angular momentum, electron spin angular momentum, and total electronic angular momentum. So, what is angular momentum? Before going to study angular momentum, let us first study what is linear momentum. In classical physics, if a body of mass m is moving with velocity v, then the linear momentum of the body is given by p is equal to mv. It is a vector quantity and denoted by p. Angular momentum or rotational momentum is a rotational equivalent of linear momentum. If a body of mass m is rotating about an axis at a distance r, then the angular momentum of the body is given by L vector is equal to r vector cross m into v vector, where mv vector is the linear momentum, and therefore we can write L vector is equal to r vector cross p vector. The angular momentum, like linear momentum, is a vector and is denoted by L vector. Its direction is given by right hand rule and it is directed along the axis of rotation of the electron. The spinning top remains upright while spinning due to the conservation of angular momentum. Right? Let us study the electronic angular momentum. So, since electron revolves around the nucleus in an atom, it possesses the orbital angular momentum. Also, in addition to the orbital motion, electron can be considered to be spinning about an axis and therefore it possesses spin angular momentum. Both the orbital and spin angular momenta of the electron contribute to the total angular momentum of the electron. Thus, we have three types of momenta for electron. First one is the orbital angular momentum due to the orbital motion of the electron and it is denoted by L vector. Next is spin angular momentum due to the spin motion of the electron and it is denoted by S vector. And third one is the total angular momentum denoted by J vector. It is the vector sum of L vector and S vector. An electron moving in its orbital about a nucleus possesses orbital angular momentum. The orbital angular momentum of the electron is denoted by L vector and expressed in terms of L value, that is the orbital quantum number of the corresponding orbital. The orbital angular momentum is quantized and it is usually expressed in terms of unit h upon 2 pi, where h is Planck's constant. So what is meant by quantized? So that means the orbital angular momentum takes discrete values, right? It is not taking continuous values, but it is taking discrete values and therefore it is quantized. So orbital angular momentum L vector is given by L vector is equal to square root of L into L plus 1 into h upon 2 pi, where this L is orbital quantum number, right? So it is expressed in terms of h upon 2 pi units and therefore we can write L vector is equal to square root of L into L plus 1. In this equation, L is always 0 or positive, right? And so L vector can also be 0 or positive. We may think of that the angular momentum of the each electron points in different direction, and therefore in practice for many electron atoms we specify the arbitrary reference direction as the direction of L vector for one particular electron, or the direction of external applied electric or magnetic field as the reference direction. That means we have to choose a reference direction. That reference direction may be the direction of the external magnetic or electric field, or the direction of the L vector for any one of the particular electron, right? So let us consider this is our reference direction, that means along the L vector of this particular electron, right? Once the reference direction is fixed, the angular momentum vector can point only so that its component along the reference direction are integral multiples of h upon 2 pi. That means let us consider this electron. So the L vector is directed along this direction. So we have to choose the reference direction. Let us consider we have chosen this reference direction along this z vector, right? And we take the component of this L vector, right? So this is, let us say, L vector, and its component along the reference direction is given by taking an intercept along this z direction, right? So if you take the intercept on this z axis, right, on the reference direction, we will get our z component, right? So that z component is our Lz vector, right? So Lz vector is our z component of the angular momentum, right? So Lz vector is our z component of the orbital angular momentum. Therefore, the component of the orbital angular momentum along the reference direction, that is z component of the orbital angular momentum, is shown here, right? So Lz vector is equal to Lz into h upon 2 pi, where Lz is an integer whose values depend on the orbital quantum number L. For example, for L is equal to 1, Lz takes values as -1, 0, +1, and for L is equal to 2, Lz takes values as -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, right? And thus Lz is equivalent to magnetic quantum number m, right? What we are saying, Lz is equivalent to magnetic quantum number m, and therefore Lz takes values from -L to +L including 0, right? Thus the Lz takes twice L plus 1 values. We can express this in the following way given in the figure, right? So in this diagram we have written the Lz axis along this direction, right? And this is our L vector, right? So this L vector is along this direction, right? So L vector is equal to square root of 2. This is our Lz, right? So there are components of L vector along three directions which are shown, right? And this is +1, 0, -1 are the Lz values. Therefore, for L is equal to 1, we get three values of Lz is equal to +1, 0, -1. For L is equal to 2, we have Lz is equal to +2, +1, 0, -1, -2, which can be shown in this diagram like this, right? So this is L vector is equal to square root of 6, right? So L is equal to 2, that means L vector is equal to square root of 6, and the components of this L vector along the reference direction, and that are given by this Lz quantum number, which takes values +2, +1, 0, -1, -2, right? So this is the magnitude of L vector, this is the magnitude of L vector, right? So usually the orbital energy of the electron depend only on the magnitude and not on the direction of its angular momentum, and thus the twice L plus 1 values of Lz are all degenerate. So all these twice L plus 1 values of Lz, they are degenerate, that is at the same energy. However, we should note that it is possible to leave the degeneracy so that levels with different Lz have different energies, right? Just like in Zeeman effect, the degeneracy of these levels can be lived with the application of magnetic field, right? In the absence of external electric or magnetic field, the components of L vector, that is Lz values, are all are at the same energy. That means they are degenerate. Before moving further, let us remind again the distinction between L vector, Lz and Lz vector, right? So the quantum number L is an integer 0 or positive representing the state of electron in an atom and determining the orbital angular momentum, right? So L is an integer. It can take integer 0 or positive values, and it represents the state of the electron in an atom and it determining the orbital angular momentum L vector, right? So vector L vector designates the magnitude and direction of this momentum. That means the orbital angular momentum. And when expressed in units of h upon 2 pi, L is numerically equal to square root of L into L plus 1. So this L vector is numerically equal to square root of L into L plus 1. And when the reference direction is fixed, L vector can point only so as to have components Lz vector is equal to Lz into h upon 2 pi along that direction, right? That means Lz vector is the component of L vector along the reference direction, right? And Lz is an integer or 0, right? So Lz is again a quantum number which can take integer or 0 values. In addition to the orbital motion, the electron can also be considered to be spinning about an axis, and therefore we can have the electron spin angular momentum of the electron, which is denoted by S vector, right? So its spin motion is designated by the spin quantum number S, which can be shown to have value of plus half only, right? So the spin quantum number S can take only plus half value that we have already studied in the revision of quantum numbers, right, in the earlier lectures. Thus, the spin angular momentum is given by S vector is equal to square root of S into S plus 1 h upon 2 pi, right? And therefore, since S takes only plus half value, and therefore S vector is equal to square root of 1 half into 3 by 2 units, which is equal to 1 by 2 into square root of 3 units, right? So this S vector has this much value, that means 1 by 2 root 3 unit. The quantization law for spin momentum is that the vector can point so as to have components in the reference direction which are half integral multiples of h upon 2 pi, so that S vector is equal to Sz into h upon 2 pi, with Sz taking the values of plus half and minus half only. That means this Sz, that means the quantum number of the z component of the spin angular momentum, Sz, can take plus half or minus half values, right? Thus only 2, that is twice s plus 1 values are allowed, right, for this. So first value is plus half and next is minus half, and we can represent it by using this figure, right? So the allowed values of Sz, only 2 allowed values, for them the directions which are shown in this diagram. So this is Sz, right? So 2 values are this is plus half and this is minus half. So Hz, which is equal to 1 upon 2 square root of 3, small s is equal to 1 up. The total angular momentum of the electron is the sum of orbital and spin angular momenta. That is, J vector is equal to L vector plus S vector. That is, J vector is equal to L vector plus S vector, where J vector is the total angular momentum of the electron. We can express J vector in terms of total angular momentum quantum number J. So J vector is equal to square root of J into J plus 1 into h upon 2 pi, which is equal to square root of J into J plus 1 units, where J is half integral since is half integral for one electron atom, right? And therefore this J quantum number is half integral only. So J vector can have components which are half integrals only because J is half integral. Plus Jz values are given by plus or minus J, plus or minus J minus 1, plus or minus J minus 1, dash 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 up to 1 half, right? Now there are two methods by which we can deduce the various allowed values of J vector for particular L vector and S vector values, and these two methods are, the first one is vector summation method and second one is summation of Z component. Therefore we can calculate the allowed values of J vector for particular L vector and S vector by using these two methods. So let us study the first method, vector summation. In this method, the two vectors L vector and S vector are added in order to get the resultant J vector is equal to L vector plus S vector. So this is done with the laws of vector addition, right? So we know that the two vectors can be added to get the resultant vector by the parallelogram law of vector addition, right? So let us say A vector and B vector are two vectors. Their resultant C vector is given by the diagonal of this parallelogram, right? So C vector is equal to A vector plus B vector. And since L vector and S vector can take different orientations, the quantum mechanical laws restricts the angle between the L vector and S vector to values such that the resultant J vector takes only half integral values given by this equation. J vector is equal to square root of J into J plus 1. Therefore J vector takes values as 1 by root 3, 1 by root 15, 1 by root 35 dash 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 for J is equal to 1 half, 3 by 2, 5 by 2, etc. Let us consider example of the p electron, that is L is equal to 1 and S is equal to 1 half. We get two different orientations of J as shown in figure, right? So we can take, so let us consider L is equal to 1, the quantum number L is equal to 1, that means L vector will take value as root 2 and S is equal to 1 half, then S vector will take value as 1 by 2 root 3, right? And therefore we can take two different orientations of these L and S vectors to get the values of J vector. So we get two values of J vector, right? Also from the values of L is equal to 1 and S is equal to 1 half, we have two different values of J, that is 3 by 2 and 1 half, right? So from this J is equal to L plus S is equal to 1 plus half, which is equal to 3 by 2, and J is equal to L minus S, which is equal to 1 minus half, which is equal to 1 half. So we get two different values of J, right? J is the quantum number. Since L is equal to 1 and S is equal to 1 half, so we know that J takes values L plus S and L minus S, right? J takes values from L plus S to L minus S. So here L plus S is 1 plus half is equal to 3 by 2 and L minus S is equal to 1 minus half, which is equal to 1 by 2. Only two values of J and therefore only two orientations we can see here, right? And therefore only two orientations of J. Let us move to another method, that is summation of Z component. If the components along a common direction of the two vectors are added, we get the components in that direction of the resultant. And therefore let us take an example of p electron, that is L is equal to 1 and S is equal to 1 half. So we have the components of L is equal to 1 and LZ. So we have the components of L is equal to 1 as LZ is equal to minus 1, 0 and plus 1, right? So for L is equal to 1, LZ takes values as minus 1, 0 and plus 1, right? So while components of S are 1 half, right? While components of S is equal to 1 half are Sz is equal to plus and minus 1 half, right? Only. So we get two components of this S equal to 1 half. So these two components are Sz is equal to plus half and Sz is equal to minus half. Taking all possible sums of Jz is equal to Lz plus Hz, therefore we get 6 values of the component Jz. So which are these values? So we take all the possible sums. So Jz is equal to 1 plus half, 1 minus half, then 0 plus half, 0 minus half, then minus 1 plus half, minus 1 minus half, and therefore we get 6 values of the component Jz. In this we can easily note that the first 4 values of Jz belongs to J is equal to 3 by 2. So if we take J is equal to 3 by 2, if we calculate Jz, then we get the first 4 values. That means corresponding to J is equal to 3 by 2, we get 3 by 2, 1 half and minus 1 half, right? And these values, they belong to J is equal to 3 by 2. And next two values, minus half and plus half, they belongs to J is equal to 1 half, right? So these two Jz values they belongs to J is equal to 1 half. So first 4 values belongs to J is equal to 3 by 2 and next two values belongs to J is equal to 1 half, right? Which agrees with the values we have calculated from vector summation method. Thus, for the p electron in the hydrogen atom, that is L is equal to 1 and S is equal to half, we get two different orientations of J vector. That is, J vector is equal to 1 half root 15 when L plus S they reinforce, that is they add up, and J vector is equal to 1 by 2 root 3 when L vector and S vector oppose each other. Thus, the total momentum J vector has different magnitude in two cases and we get two different energy levels depending upon whether L vector and S vector reinforce or oppose each other, right? So let us consider this is the p state, L is equal to 1, and in this case now we are getting two different orientations of J vector, right? So that means these two orientations of J vector, they corresponds to the two different energy levels, right? And they will give rise to two different energy levels, and thus the two energy levels which are shown like this. Since they are the p state, since L is equal to 1 for p state for both the levels, right? They may be distinguished by writing the J quantum number values as the subscript to the state symbol P for the state of an individual electron, right? So we have written these two states P half and P3 by 2, right, for our electron. So in hydrogen atom, so due to the spin orbit coupling, we get the total angular momentum J. In the case of hydrogen atom, we get two different orientations of this J vector, and these two orientations gives rise to two different energy levels corresponding to the same energy level, right? Such states are split into two energies. They are termed as doublet states. So they are termed as doublet states, and their doublet nature is usually indicated by writing a superscript 2 to the state symbol, right? So we write the superscript 2 to the state symbol. So we write 2p 3 by 2 and 2p half, right? Instead of writing p half and p 3 by 2, we write 2p half and 2p 3 by 2. That means doublet, 2 means doublet, p means the L equal to 1 state, that means the p orbital, and this 3 by 2 and 1 half, they represent the J value, that means the total angular momentum quantum number J values, right? For higher L values, for the electron will also produce doublet states when combined with S is equal to 1 half. since S can take only one half value, and therefore each energy level in the hydrogen atom is doublet only, right? So each energy level is doublet. All the higher orbitals, they are also doublet because S take only one value, and that is one half. And thus for the d electron, that is L is equal to 2 and S is equal to one half, we get two different orientations of J, that is two states denoted by J is equal to 5 by 2 and 3 by 2. So L plus S, so it is 5 by 2 and L minus S is 3 by 2. So again for the d state or d electron, we get again two different orientations of J, and therefore we get two different energy levels, right, which are denoted by 2d 5 by 2 and 2d 3 by 2, where these two, that means doublet states, d means the d electron or L is equal to 2 level, and this 5 by 2 and 3 by 2 means the total angular momentum quantum number values, right? For the higher L values, that is L is equal to 3, we get 2f 7 by 2 and 2f 5 by 2. We can represent this doublet state as 2f 7 by 2 comma 5 by 2 in a single notation, right? For L is equal to 4, we get 2g 9 by 2 comma 7 by 2. What is for s orbital? Thus for the s state, that is L is equal to 0 and S is equal to 1 half. That means we are considering one electron in the S level, right? S orbital. And for S orbital, we have L is equal to 0. Since for the S state, that is L is equal to 0, it can make no contribution to the vector sum. And only possible resultant is J is equal to S vector, which is equal to 1 upon 2 root 3 for S is equal to 1 half. And please remember that S is equal to minus half is not allowed, right? So S is equal to minus half is not allowed because quantum number S cannot be negative. It is the Z component of the vector can have negative values. So its Z component Sz can have negative values. So Sz can be plus half or minus half, but S cannot be negative, right? Thus for the S electron, we can have the state symbol as S half only. Thus for the S electron, we can have the state symbol as S equal to 1 half only. This is however written as the doublet state, that is 2s half. It is because when we study the fine structure of hydrogen atom, it is useful to write this state as a doublet state, right? So let us study what is meant by state symbol or term symbol. So we have seen the notations like 2s half or 2p half or 2p 3 by 2 comma half, right? They are called as state symbols or term symbols. So what they represent? So the superscript 2 represent the multiplicity, right, which depend on the spin quantum number S. For H atom, there is only one electron and thus S is equal to 1 half, right? So multiplicity is twice S plus 1 and S is 1 half only, and therefore we have, so multiplicity is 2, that means a doublet state. The symbol P represents the state or orbital of the electron, that is its L value, right? So it is state or orbital of the electron, that means its L value, right? Thus for the p electron, that is L is equal to 1, we have p state or orbital denoted by capital P. The numbers at the subscript represents the number of possible values of the total angular momentum quantum number J, right? So they represent the quantum number J values. So we will study it in detail when we study the multi-electron atoms, right? So we will study the term symbol in detail when we will study the multi-electron atom. So in summary, we have learned about the electronic angular momentum. We have also studied its three different types: orbital angular momentum, spin angular momentum, and total angular momentum of the electron, right? We have also learned about the term symbols for one electron atom. In the next lecture, we will study the fine structure of hydrogen atom spectrum. Thank you.